These days, if your fighting game isn't set up for the most serious of competitive matches with the ultimate matchmaking experience for the alpha gamers of the FGC, it's not considered to be viable. The competitive angle of fighting games is seemingly paramount. If you can't dedicate 15 years of your life to exploring the hidden tech and pushing the skill ceiling to God's throne, then it's considered dead on arrival. But, I love fighting games, and I'm trash at them. In fact, I don't even play the majority of them online. I like to sit down in training mode and practice combos, but not even particularly difficult ones. Just the ones that I think are cool. I like making dream matches real and recreating scenes I enjoy. Basically, I don't want to dominate the planet. I just like bashing my action figures together. Now, I'm not saying you can't have the two types of play occupy the same game. Fighter Z is amazing for them both, and a lot of love was put into equal parts the competitive experience and the part where I brainlessly enjoy pretty colors. But what if you don't have a game that's great for both? What if I just want to enjoy a game that brings absolutely nothing to the table except for some cool action figures I can smash together like particles in the LHC? Welcome to Arena Fighters, the ultimate experience in paste-eating gaming. You've got your Pokens, your combat cores, your fight crabs, your Xenogears, bonus fighting minigame, and of course there's classics like Dissidia, Power Stone, and obviously Phantom Dust. Arms is there too, I guess. But the crown crystallized jewel on that Wintermint flavored toothpaste roll is anime fighters. Naruto, Dragon Ball, Demon Slayer, Gundam, you name it, it's probably got an anime fighter, and I can guarantee you this too, it's probably not very complicated. Yes, you heard me, I said it, J-Star's Victory Versus probably isn't going to be seeing any glory at EVO 2023 anytime soon, but you know where it will see glory? My TV, that's where. Arena Fighters are pure distilled action figure bashing, put into a convenient syringe that I can inject straight into my veins. A game like this, it doesn't need to be nutritious, it doesn't need to be a healthy meal that makes me a better person. You don't always eat keto, you might get KFC instead. These games are fast food, they're bad for you, they taste great, and you're always a little ashamed to enjoy them. When I want to turn my brain off, I put on a game of my choosing, go to the training mode, and mindlessly beat the shit out of a hapless NPC until I either get bored and turn it off, or feel daring enough to fight something that moves instead. And why is that? Why is it that a whole genre of games can so efficiently turn me into Stanley, mindlessly pushing buttons to see things on a screen change? Well, appropriately enough, it all comes down to the exact same things that make action figures enjoyable: fidgeting, novelty, and repetitive fun. A major advantage shared between promotional action figures and anime arena fighters is that they have a huge plethora of source material to draw on that can make us happy in ways unlicensed goods just can't. Those Soyjack memes where they see Star Wars man turn on his lightsaber and they clap, they come from a place of truth, and that truth is that we've all got a little pointing Soyjack inside of our hearts. If there's something that we love to re-experience it, and we love to recognize it. If we get an action figure of Goku, he better come with some pieces that let us pose him with a Kamehameha coming out of his plastic little digits. And if they get his gi color wrong or mess up the symbol on it, then, well, we're just plain not going to buy the damn thing. Clearly, the creators had no idea what they were doing. Arena fighters tap into that primal, consumeristic desire to recognize and re-experience things we love and turn it into a weaponized art form. In any other game, had you been mashing a singular button to do some flips and dips and end it with a big explosion, it might be cool, but it'd get boring, especially if there are only 3 other things it could do. But when we mash that button as Naruto and he starts flailing around Kurama chakra, we recognize it as the thing Naruto did. And, thanks to this new toy we've got, we can do it too. In fact, we can do it as many times as we want. That cool thing that happened in the show can now happen over and over again, and we can do it to whoever we want, whenever we want. And that's one impetus of why doing repetitive actions can be fun in a bad fighting game. Sometimes just doing that one move over and over again with little to no thought is exactly what we want to do. Because it's just what we do with our new toys, Cool Blaster, or Kung Fu kicking function. People start riots over this stuff. It's really important to a lot of folks. For early Dragon Ball games, all the way up to Budokai and Supersonic Warriors, the Kamehameha was yellow. When we finally started seeing the blue Kamehameha as a standard, it was a momentous occasion. Champagne was popped, parties were had, Yamcha was invited. It was an amazing experience for everyone involved. That leads us into the next bit, 101 Gokus. Anytime Fighter Z comes into question, people ask, why are there so many Gokus? And then you look at Tenkaichi for the first time and you see stuff like Goku mid, and you start asking yourself questions like, why is this game so mean to this Goku? Why is it calling him mid? What makes him so mid? Why is this one mid when all the other ones are apparently a lot cooler. This one's early all the time. This one just says end. What the hell does end mean? Well, the reason is if you made End Goku fight Ginyu on Namek, shit's gonna get pretty freaky once he whips out Super Saiyan 3 and Ginyu has a crisis of faith after wondering why he didn't suddenly become a god even though he also shaves his eyebrows. So, even though the actual movesets on Tenkaichi characters are very sparse with a lot of reused animations, effects, and programming, it won't matter to a fan of the show. Sure, the Kamehameha and the Masenko may not be all that different at their cores, but there are very minor differences, and those minor differences mean the world to a fan. Vegeta's not going to use the Kamehameha, he's going to use the Gallic Gun. If he did use the Eternal Beam, people would know what's up. It doesn't matter if they're the same move. Vegeta uses the purple laser, and if he used the blue one instead, I'd probably kill a man by sundown to save my displeasure. For the same reasons you wouldn't give Vegeta the Kamehameha, you wouldn't give Super Saiyan Goku the Spirit Bomb. It's just not going to work. So if you want a scenario where you have that accurate action figure experience, you need certain Gokus that do certain things according to their time period. Now, does this make for a better fighting game? Probably not. The readability is going to be all messed up by fake mirror matches, and you're going to be in dust loop hell trying to remember what all the different skills and that only certain types of Gokus have. But Tenkaichi is not the kind of game that sets out to be played in tournaments the world over. I mean, it's not like it's its main goal or anything. I guess you could still do it if you wanted to. It's the kind of game where you have 161 characters and you bash them together really fast and the planet blows up if your action figure is cooler than the one your friend picked out of the toy box. And if you're out here making the biggest and bestest Dragon Ball toy box known to man, you're gonna need to make different types of Gokus that do different things. That's just how you make the experience the best. Other arena fighters do this too. You hear a lot about Gokus in Dragon Ball games, but have you seen Ultimate Ninja Storm 4? You got enough Narutos here to actually decorate some miso ramen, and nearly all of them are important. Look at this one. This one is secretly 3 different Narutos, all crammed into one slot. And you know what? It's cool as shit. I'd expect nothing less from an anime arena fighter that knows what's up. I love all of this stuff. I love unbalanced rosters with triple digits worth of characters in them. I love it when the protagonist has 27 different individual character slots that all play differently to reference that one time he got drunk and unlocked the ability to punch a little differently. I love it when one move has different interactions for different characters and it doesn't work on this one other character because it didn't ever work on him in the show. I love stupid, unbalanced anime arena fighter bullshit. That's why I play games that are bad. Games that are really just objectively the worst. Want to know something neat? In my spare time, sometimes I boot up Jump Force. Not even at versus matches. I hate that you're locked to 3v3 because it means I can't just do things like Gon versus Deku. Nah, I just go to training mode and play around with all the cool moves. It's how I've discovered that despite what the game desperately wants you to believe, each character really is capable of some different things. Goku's combos and Vegeta's combos, they both start and end at the exact opposite places. Goku starts with light attacks and ends with heavies, while Vegeta has a reverse beat sort of thing going on, where he starts with heavies and ends with light. The Dragon Ball characters are in general pretty great, honestly. You could usually cancel the end of their normal strings into a melee combo and then end that melee combo with a big beam attack. They've also got some neat transformation gimmicks going on. Goku, Vegeta, and Frieza are in fact the only characters to have 2 transformations. Some of their moves even change. The coolest part for me is Meteor Combination, which is also coincidentally not the actual Meteor Combination. It starts off being a quick Kaioken attack, but once you hit Super Saiyan, it loses the red aura, it just becomes a cool combo. Then after dumping some blue Kool-Aid mixed into your hair and screaming really loud, it goes back to the Kaioken attack, just to add an effortless little reference to Super Saiyan Rocket Popsicle. Now, let's compare all that to Gon. Also in Jump Force, Gon doesn't have big normal strings that can lead into a melee attack that can wrap things up with a big beam, but he's got his own skills. He's got one big skill in particular called Jajangken, and you can do all sorts of things with it. You can move around with it, which is nice, but you can also use one of 3 different moves from that stance. Plus, you can use your other 2 moves to modify how that stance works. One of them helps you chain 2 big Jajangken moves together, while the other one gives you some armor, so you can really get up in the enemy's ass and give them a Nenanima. Now, if you're a big, serious fighting game player, you may ask, why do all that work when I can just pick Goku and mash less buttons to get better results? Because you're a Hunter x Hunter fan, that's why. And if Gon didn't have all that complicated bullshit, he wouldn't be Gon. He'd be a very tiny Goku. And Lord knows, you people hate having more Gokus in your video games. But let's follow that and say you really are a big sweaty gamer and you want to put your toys away and go play a real video game for men, like Melee or something. Is it still possible to eat paste in the hollowed halls of the tryhards? Well, Melee is honestly your best answer. Yes. Not every game that has these fun properties has to be bad. Smash Bros. Is a game that is designed to be played by both gigachads and tryhards, so by design, it facilitates a sort of action figure mindset. Sakurai himself has a very strong grasp on what makes a character fun to play in isolation, so even though a lot of Smash's characters are effectively just repaints and reissues, the majority of them effectively encapsulate the vibes and appeal of the franchises they represent. It's the perfect kind of game where if someone wants to go ahead and beat up kids in the yard to prove they got the biggest penis, they're perfectly allowed to, but it's also just fine if I want to chill out in Hand and Bow and beat up Minecraft Steve as Sephiroth. It's not just the characters themselves either. Sakurai is always insistent on providing new and unique ways for you to be able to play with your toys in each entry. While they're not all winners like the Smash 4 game where they want you to play Monopoly for a while, the majority of them really do hit it out of the park. The other side of Smash 4 side modes is Smash Run, which is so much of a blast that it's honestly depressing it's stuck on the 3DS. Classic mode's always a blast, and Smash Ultimate's got the best version of that. And I'm probably the only guy on Earth who really truly enjoys collecting spirits. Even Melee, the poster child for the International Fun Haters Association, has a really great adventure mode where you can stomp around a Mario level and blindly wander around a Zelda dungeon. And of course, Smash 64 wins, hands down, since it has, Now, for the biggest of them, well, Brawl's Subspace Emissary was critiqued back in the day for not really incorporating a lot of material from Smash's myriad franchises, but honestly it really was something special, being an entire platforming adventure where you could help Mario and friends get the game back together and beat up a butterfly man. The Great Maze portion is pretty universally hated, but you know what, I really love it. I really do. I got lost in that shit as a kid, and I meant to get lost in it. What other game has a segment where every single level of the game is glued together into a cohesive Metroidvania that you can explore? It really felt like I finally unlocked a big sandbox to screw around with as Sonic. And that's the thing about Sakurai's contributions. He not only understands the appeal of a good toy collection, but he also knows it's just as important to have some fun sandboxes to muck around in. If Jump Force is a Detroit McDonald's where every item on the menu is sloppy and designed to sate your sinful lust for greasing carbs, Smash is a McDonald's in Shibuya where none of the employees have criminal records and a robot maid serves you McCaviar with a side of ice cream from a machine that actually works. A lot of other games are like this, actually. I brought up Fighter Z earlier, but you've also got games like All-Star Battle, which has all the details like unique interactions and doubled up characters, but it's also a fighting game people won't make fun of you for caring about. And you don't need to be based on an anime to have these things either. BlazBlue is a fantastic example. Every character stands out from each other, and they all have unique interactions and fun gimmicks that are just plain fun to pull off, even brainlessly. It feels like they're all marketing towards you like an original toy line that's just fun to see at the other end of the hall. There's even a dedicated button just for your character to do something only they can do, so that you get the same rush of playing expressive and evocative characters without it necessarily needing to be from some other show or game. Fun, accuracy, experimentation, things you can just fidget around with and experience in a nice, fun, open space. Sometimes these are way more important than just some functions that perform better than others. You know, you don't always want the Optimus Prime that can beat up every other kid's Optimus Prime. Sometimes you just want the one with the cool guns and the detachable trailer that turns into a mini-con home base. In the same way, 5-course meals are great, all-out expensive dishes at 5-star restaurants, but when I get the munchies, I don't call on Gordon Ramsay to serve me a life-changing meal. I just buy some Doritos and rewatch Germa VODs. Being a good game and being a mindlessly fun game, it doesn't have to be one or the other, but if you want to find out why people love trash games that are only ever mindless, you've just got to enjoy it like it's good junk food. So that was my first video essay. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, but I'm excited to see what you guys think. If you like this kind of stuff and aren't already subscribed, be sure to subscribe because I'll be trying to put one of these out about once a week, but don't try and hold me to that, please. Also, if you really don't mind and it's not that much of an inconvenience, I'd really appreciate it if you could donate me $1 on Ko-Fi. I'm in a position where I need all the money I can get and I am no longer ashamed to ask. So if you could donate even just one singular dollar one time, I'd greatly appreciate it. Man's gotta eat, and cold ramen on my plate, that's more than enough for me. So $1, that's all I'm asking. So I don't know, go play some really bad video games. They could be fun sometimes.